I've been watching, what's it called? The Hollywood Reporter roundtables, like when they talk to like actors and directors and shit and writers.
And then what happened?
Uh, it's it's a combination of things. It's insightful. It's cool to like hear about the technical side of things. It can be fun. Like some people have like he was like, oh, that seems like a person like that I would hang out with or whatever kind of thing, and like joke around or whatever. They have like funny stories of things that happened, and yeah.
What, like Bradley Cooper?
Am I freezing?
No, you're good right now. You should. Are you on your like wireless cut, like your Wi-Fi, or are you on your like LTE?
Oh, you know what? I could probably switch over to LTE. Yeah, let me try that. 1 second.
This is the worst phone on the internet. Burn up
Where are you?
the little sparkle bit. See how it's like? I don't know if you have that ability. Look, it's my whole face.
Am I back?
Yeah. So we're immediately having technical difficulties. You guys wave to each other live on the show.
Oh, let me get the box. Let me get the DVD cover.
Get the DVD cover so everybody knows we're watching. I have it on in the background here. I don't want to show this for too long because I don't want to get a content strike. I'm watching it just so as I talk about it, I can glance over and see our boy Danny Glover. That's up my nose. That's happening. So I'll be commenting. I mean, our this podcast is only an hour, but I will be making reference to the movie I'm watching currently in the background. I've got the notes pulled up. My wife is walking around and distracting me. I'm trying to do something professional.
She's just adding to the uh show.
It's unforgivable. I'm gonna get a divorce.
What about babies first? Oh, guess what? I'm gonna be a dad
What?
on TV.
Oh, well, you kind of gotta finish the sentence. You gotta lead with that. What? Is there a story to that? You kind of just say things and then don't and don't follow up with anything.
That's what I bring to this partnership, Jason. That's what
Uh,
keeps the viewers
this whole thing was your idea, right? But I find that I'm the one that has to start the live. I'm the one that has to like probe you for more information about what you're talking about.
well, so that's a valid point. I did, I guess, instigate wanting to try and get involved with your because like you started getting into like doing movie reviews and stuff. Did you ever end up checking out that Rewatchables podcast?
No, but I still have it written down somewhere. I'm a busy man, Kayla. You know that.
But in my mind, the way that I see this is this is mostly your baby, and I'm almost like a guest or whatever. Like,
What? This is your idea? Okay, that's fair, and it's funny that you should say that because I have hosted or co-hosted every podcast I've ever done. I've never been in your position, and when you came up with this idea, I was hoping I would be in the position of this the other guy.
oh,
But once again, you know, why are my lips so white? Is that? They're just the reflection of the computer screen, and it's just for some reason it looks like I'm a crackhead,
that makes sense.
or I just yeah, or I just brushed my teeth. Looks like I'm a crackhead mostly though.
Want me to
You guys,
the weight of this these live reviews. I'll try.
I mean, it's cool. I got all the pertinent information. I got the movie up on the screen. Let's talk about Be Kind Rewind. How did you enjoy this movie? I'm sure you've seen it many times, as I have as well. Let's start off by let's talk about how we feel about it because it's weird. Jack Black I think had already done King Kong at this point. He's already like a mainstream star by the time this movie comes out. Of course, Tenacious D, 2006, wasn't it?
I'm pretty sure this movie is 2000.
2008. Um,
Okay,
so yeah,
never mind. It says original screenplay 2000.
okay. It's
Okay, yeah, 2008. Yeah, yeah.
is it based on like a short film or something?
Not that I could find in my research about it, but I really couldn't find very much about it.
That's true, me either, because it's weird. Like most depth feels perfect for this role, but Jack Black sticks out to me for some reason. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. He's somehow playing the same character he plays in every movie, but it's almost like not the right role for him or something.
Yeah,
But he's still great.
it's Jack Black.
I've always felt he's Jack Black, but I've always felt that it was a weird choice to go with Jack Black. It's kind of like, did you watch that movie with Drew Barrymore that just came out, The Stand-In?
Not yet. I mean, I'm sure I will at some point. I haven't been in the mood for it yet. My understanding is someone that looks like her basically takes over her life or something.
So the subtext, yeah, you're right. The subtext of the movie, though, is it's sort of like a parody of what like Melissa McCarthy does and what she like her whole shtick. And I almost feel like Melissa McCarthy should have just played that character. And in this film, I kind of had the same feeling where like Jack Black is great, he's Jack Black, but I don't know if him playing a Jack Black kind of role was the best way to go for that. It's almost too on the nose, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess it's subjective. But
Let's
I do
not
like.
think so.
We're right at the point where he gets electrocuted, which I do really enjoy. Sorry, go ahead.
Dude, but so like on that train of thought, do you think he should have played like a different type of character, however, like a different style of character, or do you think someone else should have played that role?
Maybe somebody else should have played that role. Just I don't know. Maybe it was perfect for him, and bringing Jack Black into the fold was good. But like, what if like Philip Seymour Hoffman had played that role?
I do like me some Philip Seymour Hoffman a lot, like a lot.
Especially in a movie like this that is a comedy, but it's almost like a serious comedy, if that makes sense. And it's an indie film, and Jack Black by tooth. Okay, I just get King Kong to me is his tipping point, where he goes from indie films to like the mainstream.
Jack Black?
Yeah,
Was it?
that's when he got like really, really big. 2005. So a few years previous to this movie, he blows up, and then he goes back to his roots with this movie and does an indie film.
One.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm too hung up on this whole thing. And when this movie came out, I loved it, and I loved Jack Black in it. But I just feel like this was like a step backwards for him. And I guess to that same token, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been another situation in that same vein because he was like a big star at this point too.
Yeah, I could see him doing well. I'm not sure if I could see him being right for it. I'm trying to think of who else can I see doing this.
Like, who are other comedic actors who can play like? Oh, you know what? A young Rainn Wilson,
Right?
Rainn Wilson, right when The Office. This is 2008 is when The Office came out. So yeah, like a just starting out Rainn Wilson could have played this role real well.
Which one's Rainn Wilson?
That's Dwight.
Right.
I think he would have been good in this role. I also feel that Jack Black might maybe I'm coming around on it even as we just talk about it because he does have that unique Jack Blackiness to him. It's just distracting. It's just distracting when somebody does their shtick in a movie that you've seen 100 times. But this is like in a retrospective way where now after seeing him do the same thing so many times, maybe going back and watching this older movie, I'm kind of like, I'm over it.
Right. Versus like when you first saw it.
When it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, inject fucking rigagoo goo goo Jack Black into my veins.
Yeah.
Give me that School of Rock. Is School of Rock before or after this movie as well? That's another question for the group.
After. I want to say it was after School of Rock.
Yes, and that is Jack Black is perfectly that because when he's Jables, when he does the Jables shtick, it should be tangentially related to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And this was just kind of a dickhole. Like he just at every turn he just acts like an asshole, and he acts like the foil to Mos Def. Yeah. Pretty much constant. Even though they're supposed to be best.
AKA Dante, AKA Yasin.
What's that?
Dante, AKA Mos Def, AKA Yasin Bey.
Yasin Bey, that's his current rap name. I haven't heard anything from Mos Def since like Chappelle's Show.
He did a few movies, 16 Blocks. He did another one where he was like a drug mule. I forget what that one was called. But it was good.
Check this out. School of Rock actually predates King Kong and came out in 2003.
It came up
way before this, before King Kong. So School of Rock makes more sense for like a movie for an up and comer. That's interesting. I'm learning a lot about Jack Black's career today. So let's just run down. We went over Jack Black. We went over Mos Def. Danny Glover, perfect. I love seeing Danny Glover show up in movies as like an old dude.
Yeah.
What? That's always fun. What's happening in the chat?
Crystal is trying to figure. She saw me on here and wanted to ask a question.
Oh well, you could have just answered her. That's fine. Hello, Crystal. Nice to see you. We've only talked a handful of times, but We've definitely met many times, drunkenly. Maybe other things were involved. Party time, excellent. So, just a quick synopsis of the film. Basically, two dudes run this video shop for Danny Glover, and Danny Glover raised Mos Def's character Mike, and basically told him that the building that the video rental place exists in, was the birthplace of Fats Waller, who is a famous jazz star.
Yeah.
The movie begins and ends with the same homemade film of them depicting Fats Waller's life. It turns out that in the beginning, they're just kind of setting up where we're at, but then that movie turns out to be the thing that sort of is the happy ending, feel good save the day.
Yeah, nice.
In between, I forgot about that actually. And in between, you have this excellent story about Jack Black being like, he's a conspiracy theorist. He thinks that the power plant down the street
He lives.
he lives in a junkyard.
Yeah.
He thinks that the power plant is scrambling or trying to scramble everybody's brain. It should be noted that these guys are sort of stuck on the whole idea that like you don't want to progress with technology, because this place looks like an old pawn shop turned into a video rental place. Actually, I never noticed this until I watched it this time, that it's actually like a video rental place / thrift store. They don't really talk about that, but just looking at I'm just looking at it now on the screen here, and there's like old microwaves behind the desk. There's like shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And one of the subplots is that Danny Glover's character is like, I gotta go away for a while. But it turns out they've given the bank wants to gentrify the neighborhood and wants to turn this building into condos, as is tradition. And he's going to look at the competition and see what other video rental places are doing. So it turns out that this isn't a period piece. This isn't set in 1996 when video rental is still a thing. This is set in 2008 when DVDs are now a new thing.
Yeah.
The thing. Your thoughts?
I've been behaving because when I look back at our previous lives, and I would get really, really drunk, and
well, you don't have to get slightly embarrassed. Just I don't. If I'm talking too much, you can interject. That's basically the long and short of the plot. I don't want to get we're only 15 minutes into the show. I don't want to give away what happened at the end just yet, but that's basically what the plot of the movie is.
It's a movie with heart.
It is a movie with heart for sure. It also has that indie film feel.
It's weird though. It's kind of like it's in between like an indie film and like a blockbuster sounds too high, but it's like in between like a high-end movie and an indie movie.
Well, I believe this movie was shown in festivals, but it was also in theater. I'm pretty sure it was definitely in theaters. Didn't do well.
No, I believe that. Yeah.
It only made $4 million, $30 million worldwide. How much did it even cost to make?
I was gonna say it probably it sounds like it probably lost money.
Probably. Actually no. Budget 20 mil, box office 30.6 mil worldwide. So it did okay, but it would have. I don't it doesn't say anything. There's not a lot of information about this movie.
I know.
What I will say.
Bad.
It was in Sundance, so it did debut in Sundance, and then it came out in theaters the next month. So, but it doesn't say if it won any awards. It's got less than a page on Wikipedia. So Michael Gondry, the guy who directed the movie and wrote it, he's actually made a couple other things of note, including Kidding, which is the show starring Jim Carrey, where he plays he's like a kid's entertainer, but he's kind of aging.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah, he's got long hair or something.
Yeah. And he also directed an episode of Flight of the Conchords. He directed Dave Chappelle's Block Party, which I didn't know. A bunch of short films, and then he directed The Green Hornet
with
Yeah. Okay, so his other big one is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which he co-wrote with Charlie Kaufman and Pierre Bismuth, who I've never heard of, but we've heard of Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
And that would be his claim to fame. And he's got some other movies I've never heard of, but he's got a good pedigree. Which is interesting. Holy shit. He's also directed fucking 200 music videos.
What kind of music?
Let's see here. Okay, Kanye West.
What?
He directed the music video from Her and Say by Kanye.
Okay, I was actually guess that. Like when you said Kanye West, I'm like, what could he have? Oh, you know what? He probably did one of because I think there was like three different cuts for that music. Like I think there's three different music videos for that song, and I can definitely see it's probably the one in the mall, right? The one in the
Whatever US version is, so I'm not sure. A lot of indie rock, like the White Stripes. He did a Paul McCartney song, Dance Tonight. Bjork, Beck, The Vine. Let's see here. Kylie Minogue. He's Chemical Brothers, a couple songs by Chemical Brothers, Rolling Stones. He directed a music video for Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones, which must have been like a best of album came out or something, because Gimme Shelter is a song from like the 60s or 70s.
yeah.
And that was in 1998. So it must have been that thing where in the 90s, a lot of bands put out like best of albums, but like not like when like the record label puts out a best of album, but when like the band puts out the best of, if that makes sense, like a more important best of album. That must know what that is. Yeah, it could have been that as well. Wow, he goes back pretty far too. Like he started directing in like the 80s. So yeah, he's a decorated director who's done, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is probably the biggest movie he's done, most mainstream success. And Kidding, the TV show, actually it has done very well for itself. I believe it's on Showtime or HBO. I guess I could literally just look it up because I'm looking at a computer. I'm looking at a computer, Kaylin.
I'm also trying to bring up some details here on the computer.
Tell him something stupid.
Let's see. So you got Danny Glover, from your Lethal Weapon, your Dumbo,
Predator 2.
yeah. You got your Jack Black. What is I always think of first with Jack Black is Orange County when he's the brother.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my first introduction to him.
Oh, that's like one of, besides like High Fidelity, that might be
Cable Guy. He was also
yeah.
But
Orange County is, sorry, go ahead. I was just saying Orange County is 2002. There was a movie he was in with Brittany Murphy briefly, where he plays like they all do mushrooms. What's that movie?
Where they do mushroom. Brittany.
Yeah, he plays like a Bong Water. Did you ever see Bong Water?
No. Sounds good.
It's just a stoner movie from the late 80s. See, when Jack Black got his start on like Mr. Show as like, you know what I mean? Like he was just one of those like background characters on like the Mr. Show.
Was Mr. Show that one with the two guys, Mike or something and Mr. Mo or something like that? Is that
no, that was The Buzz with Darren and Mo.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. You should say that because on TikTok, I followed Darren Jones and I commented. I was like, I was just trolling. I was just like, fuck, where do I know you from? Is it MTV or is it YTV? I refused to Google it. And it turned out, and he commented like, oh, fuck, like jokingly. And then I looked it up and it was called The Buzz, which I think was just like a sketch comedy show. And then I commented again, oh shit, it was The Buzz with Mr. Mo. And he was like, yeah, you got it. Yeah. So I've actually talked to that guy via TikTok, which is fucking hilarious. But no, Mr. Show is David Cross and Bob Odenkirk. The show from HBO in the 90s. It was a sketch comedy show that was sort of changed up the whole sketch comedy thing. But after that, HBO gave Tenacious D their own show called Tenacious. That was basically the framework for what the movie would become. But in that, it was just little like, Cage and Jables going on adventures. And Jack Black, one of my favorite episodes is they go to the Jesus Ranch where they do mushroom. That's why I was thinking about this movie Bong Water, because in Bong Water, he plays like, they go to a farm that's like sus and do mushroom. I know a lot about Jack Black because when I was in my early 20s, I fucking idolized him. I kind of looked like him.
No, not really.
When I was in my early 20s.
How long ago I've known you since like around 25 or something.
Yeah, we've known each other for quite a while. I worked at Boston Pizza when I was 23 or 24, which is a fuck long ago. And I turned 36 this past week.
36. You're older than me.
Yeah. You have like a full gray beard, but like you can count my grays. Thanks, high definition cameras. You can count my grays. Look at this beard that I've grown.
It looks luscious. It looks I like it. I like it a lot. I was thinking about bringing my shag back.
I was so hurt. Two shows ago, you cut your hair and your beard, and I was like, "That's the whole point of the show. We have a beard." That's cool. That's cool. So we have to change. You're in hot water at work for having a beard.
Well, they can't come out and say, that's the reason, but it definitely doesn't help.
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, let's not. Probably don't talk about your work problems on a podcast.
This is
Be kind, rewind. So, we're about halfway through the show here. I found an interesting tidbit of information about Michael Gondry, the director and writer. He was inspired to make this film after making Block Party, Dave Chappelle's Block Party, which took place on One City Block. And Dave Chappelle was interested in playing Mike. Could you imagine if instead of Mos Def, it was Dave Chappelle and Jack Black?
I don't know if I'm not sure about
this one. I would quote this as probably one of my favorite movies, even more so than I do already. I would probably constantly be like, yeah, but Be Kind Rewind has Jack Black and Dave Chappelle doing their thing opposite each other. Mos Def, like I'm looking at him right now, and he's the ultimate straight man in this movie.
Yeah.
His serious acting is far away his comedic acting. Yeah. Like he's a legit serious actor.
He's
in my opinion.
Well, 16 Blocks was great. The other one, what's it called? Where's that? Journey to the End of the Night is another one with Mos Def was in. I'm pretty sure I remember being good. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I'll probably have to check that one out again. Fucking Hitchhiker's Guide, awesome.
He plays Zaphod Beeblebrox. No, he plays the main character. Martin Freeman does. He plays Zaphod, right?
Alien. I don't remember. Let me see if it says it here. Ford Perfect.
Oh yeah, Ford Prefect, because he comes to Earth and he sees the Ford Perfect ad, and he misreads it. Zaphod Beeblebrox is played by I think he's played by. No, it's the dude from here.
Fucking what's his face? From Matchstick Men. From Welcome to Collinwood. That guy. He was also in The Green Mile.
Yeah, fucking, god damn it. I'm gonna get there. Let's see if I can get there before I can read it.
Fucking Steve?
No, he was in Moon.
Yeah, Moon was good. Moon was interesting. Fuck, what was his name?
He's literally in Iron Man 2 that I just watched.
A lot of people seem to not like Iron Man 3. I thought it was good.
Dude, did you read my review? Did you read my review of it? Because I hated it when it came out, but with all of the rest of the MCU sort of in the rearview mirror, going back and watching Iron Man 3, it's actually fucking awesome. And it's directed by Shane Black. And the first episode we did of this show was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So like, there's all these things that make me love the movie. Sam Rockwell. Fuck. Yeah. So good pedigree. So the other thing about this movie that we didn't touch on yet, the whole point. The reason why this is a great movie to review as movie reviewers is because the whole crux of the movie, the middle part of the movie, the Home Alone part of the movie, let me have a tangent about why I bring up Home Alone here.
Yeah.
Movies have a setup and a payoff, in my opinion, when they have a 3-act structure.
Right.
But a lot of movies have a middle part where the whole point of the movie is that middle part. In Predator, it's like when they're hunting the fucking predator. There's a setup and then they start hunting the predator.
Right.
In Home Alone, you have all the setup to Kevin's parents leaving. But you really want to see him fuck up those feeds in the fun house, as I like to call it, the booby trapped house. This movie version of that is you want to see them get to the sweeting of the movies.
Yeah.
The sweeting of the movies is a term they come up with for when you just take a movie, and we'll get to why this happens here in a second. You take a movie and you just make the movie yourself.
Was there?
You make a 20-minute.
How they came up with the name? I didn't.
Because Jack Black goes, it's Swedish. These films are Swedish. We sweeted it. Then that's how they come up with it.
I'll accept
it. So, and the reason why they do that is after Jack Black gets electrocuted, he's now has the power to magnetize anything.
Yeah. Something on Live's paint job that he did on both of them. Perfect.
Yeah.
They had he looked like the fence sort of, and then.
Oh yeah. I think you wanted to touch on this because of us watching Tropic Thunder last time. Go ahead. What were your thoughts, Kalen?
Well, so this is the last movie review we did was Tropic Thunder, and there one of the characters was doing blackface the whole movie, which is not something that is easily accomplished, to say the least. And then I didn't this was totally I forgot all about it or whatever when I mentioned this movie. I just because I was thinking about the movie, I was like, oh, man, like I just remember it being like, oh, they redo movies, and it was kind of like inspiring me to try and make a movie or whatever. But then, so I'm watching this movie again, and Jack Black wants to be the main, the jazz player, and so there's a quick little scene, and he's in blackface, and I'm pretty sure Danny Glover takes him aside and just explains to him like, no.
And this before or after he plays Jackie Chan and does the full? There's another thing you cannot get away with in 2021 and barely could get away with in 2008. But when they're filming Rush Hour 2, he does the accent,
Yeah,
like the Asian accent,
yeah,
quote unquote. He does like the squinty eye thing that like is super racist.
yeah.
And I was like, what? It's crazy to think that like just over 10 years ago, movies could still get away with this stuff. 'Cause I think Tropic Thunder was like 2009.
I can find it. Let's say yes.
Yeah, it was also 2008. Big year for blackface. Not to. I don't want to move on before talk about how
Well, you were talking about the beginning. You're talking about the setup and the payoff, and then there's a middle part. And so, you want to get to the sweeting.
the sweeting, right? So okay, so the sweeting, I wrote down some of the ones that they did full on. There is a point in the movie where you see a list of all the movies they're doing.
Yeah.
But I did write down the ones they actually show shots at. So the big one they spend the most time on is actually Ghostbusters.
Fun too. So that one is the most kind of the most involved.
So let me set it up for you. Mia Farrow's in this movie. She plays like an old friend of Danny Glover's. Danny Glover leaves. Danny Glover calls her to be like, you have a movie that needs to be returned. So she returns the movie and she's like, I'd like to take out this movie. It's Ghostbusters. This is just right after they've electrocuted all the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a couple other people brought movies back and they were like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this shit is not,
There's nothing.
it's not, there's no movie on it.
Yeah.
So they know this, and then she comes in and she takes the movie, but she wants to take the movie, but they're like, we just gotta wait till tomorrow to give it to you. And they decide, let's film it ourselves, which is a harebrained scheme. It wouldn't work, but the payoff, the byproduct of it is that people love that more than the original movie. They want to see what people are gonna Swede.
Yeah. Then yeah.
So,
How can you recreate it? Let's see your interpretation of it. Yo, what's that saying? The best artists steal or something like that?
nope, that's not a thing. I think I think it's like imitation is the highest form of flattery.
No, man. There's a saying. I'm gonna find it.
I've never heard this saying.
Here, keep doing your train of thought, and I'll find the saying.
Okay, so they end up doing Ghostbusters. As I noted previously, they do Rush Hour 2.
Better call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's the classic theme of Ghostbusters. You better call the Ghostbusters. Of course, that is not the song. Okay, so during I think it's Rush Hour. That's when they meet. This is another thing I wanted to bring up because she's great. Melanie Diaz plays Alma, who you think is going to be like a romantic interest, but nothing really comes of it.
Well,
And
most have tries. Like, oh man, you and Jack Black have all the scenes and stuff. Also,
he goes in for the kiss, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. Why not?"
I found the quote though. It's good artists borrow, great artists steal. You never heard that before?
No,
I think it was written on a rock or something.
I must be. You know what I saw? You know what? Have I ever brought this up on the show before? You know a great quote I saw written on the back of a stall door, bathroom stall door.
Nice.
Was your poop might be the biggest poop of the day.
I think I saw that. I think I was in that stall.
It's impossible that you're in that stall, but it might be a thing that you've seen before. My dad has like a summer home trailer kind of thing. and it's like on a campground, so they have one of those like he's like no pooping in the trailer. You pee, no poop. So you got to walk around this cul-de-sac to go to this like campground style like indoor looks like a washroom that you would see in a mall or something. And that's where it is. Still there to this day. It was there last summer when I went. So every summer for the last 8 years or so, I sit in that stall and I go, I hope so. So let's see here.
Ghostbusters, Rush Hour 2.
Ghostbusters, yeah. 2001 is okay. So then they go into a montage of movies, and they show a list of all the movies, but then they show some specific scenes from some 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is really interestingly done because they're just like turning the camera while somebody sits on like in a circle.
Yeah.
King Kong, interestingly enough, because Jack Black, of course, was in King Kong a couple years ago.
Except before it happens.
Yep. No, this is after.
No,
Wasn't it?
I thought, was it?
Yeah, we determined that this is after King Kong. My Jack Blacko-meter, remember? The Jack Blacko-meter for me is everything before King Kong makes sense, everything after. If he does indie films, it doesn't make much sense anymore. Because now he does bullshit like the clock tower, the clock house, or the fucking Goosebumps movie. You know, he plays Earl Stump in the Goosebumps. Like
the thumbnail for it, I did not watch it. I'm pretty sure I don't want to. They're
the only Goosebumps visual media will always just be the Canadian kids show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The one I remember the most is with the mask. The girl.
I believe it's called The Story of the Green Mask or something like that. That's not it at all. So the other movies they do are Carrie, the iconic scene with the blood,
Driving Miss
Daisy. That's later because they spend a little bit of time on that. Men in Black.
Yeah.
So they do the car driving upside down scene. And I think they're filming Driving Miss Daisy, and then right after that, oh no, there's more. So then they decide they need 60. Danny Glover comes back, and they find out they need $60,000 to save the place for the roof. Let me start over. So the renovations, yeah, we get a scene where Danny Glover gets an offer. They're like, we'll place you somewhere else, but it's in the projects. And Danny Glover's like, fuck that. I don't live in this project. No, it's just like a little Italy kind of a place, or like the Bronx.
Outside of
yeah, literally like Agricola Street. For all you Allegonians watching right now, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. So she's like, it's going to be a minimum of $60,000 for you to even fix this place. You're going to have to take the deal. Danny Glover's like, no deal. So he goes back and tells the boys, finds out about their scheme. It's not really a scheme at this point because there's a lineup out the door. And they're like, well, what if we just put our friends, the people who are watching the movies, in the movie? They'll pay more money to be in it. And that's when they're like, somebody's like, I want Driving Miss Daisy. And Mos Def is like, I am not comfortable with that. And then Jack Black goes into Miss Daisy mode. He's like, that's not how that movie went. Because he's just being awful to him. And then the biggest part of this that I point, the 2 old men or the 3 old men are like, we want Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
They're like old white guys. I thought that was funny, but it's one of those things that's like, I don't know about that, guys. I don't know if that works.
I like the pizza as like the back of their splatter.
Yeah, that's good. So then we have Sigourney Weaver actually shows up, which is great because she's the main character, one of the main characters of the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh,
also they do Lion King. The Lion King is just on the screen right now, and they're like, how are we going to do an animated movie? So they're just, here. Can you see this?
Yeah.
I might get a copyright strike for that, but fuck it. Nobody's watching. Because we had one viewer for like a while.
Well, I mean, Disney stole that story from someone else.
That's not true. It's complicated. There's a video I'll send you about how a lot of people mistakenly think that it's a ripoff of The White Lion, but The White Lion is completely different.
Completely different.
Completely different. And it's a common misconception that movie is actually a ripoff of The White Lion. I know the lion's name in The White Lion is named Kimba, but that doesn't fit my narrative. So you know what? Oh, they also do RoboCop. Yeah, it's great. Not off track, buddy. What are we doing for time? We got about 10 minutes left here. So basically, what ends up happening, Sigourney Weaver comes in with lawyers. They say, you can't be doing this. Copyright's very real. The fact that you're filming and yeah, but the fact that they're putting it right on the film, right on the movie that's owned, if they would have just filmed these things, called them something different. I believe Asylum Films has made a whole fucking career off doing this. You know about Asylum Films? Have you ever seen any of them? They're that company that makes like C movies, like not B movies, C movies, usually straight to DVD, always straight to DVD, usually shown on like the Sci-Fi Channel, that have the name of the film. Here, I'll bring up a list of Asylum Films, which is a lot. This movie always reminds me of.
Like Asylum, like a nut house.
Yeah, yeah. So they made Titanic 2, Apocalypse Earth, Independence Day, like Independent S apostrophe Day, Street Racer, which is definitely, if you saw the cover and didn't know what Fast and Furious was, it's that. These are bad examples. There's much better. There's much better.
They're aligned with what we're talking about. I haven't seen them. What?
They're bad. The Da Vinci Treasure, bad, stupid. The Da Vinci Snakes on a Train, Halloween Night, Pirates of Treasure Island, Transmorphers.
Nice.
That's the big one. AV8, Alien versus Hunter.
Is the Transmorphers, is it cartoon or CGI, or is it?
It's like bad like bad CGI.
Like live action and CGI?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Day the Earth Stopped.
What was the original?
The Day the Earth Stood Still. 18-Year-Old Virgin, Princess of Mars. So if you look at the years that these movies came out, you can find, like, if you look at the movies of that year that are real movies, you can see the, like, parallels. Let's look at 2020. Battle Star Wars, Collision Earth, Fast and Fierce Death Race, Top Gunner, Shark Season, Monster Hunters, Asteroidageddon. So they just make, like, bad movies. Oh,
They keep
in 2021,
making a living off of it.
in 2021, they put out 2 films you may recognize what they are parodies of: Ape versus Monster,
Oh, yeah.
and The Rebels of PT-218, which is kind of like a Star Warsy kind of name. So yeah, that's kind of their shtick. So that's what Sweden reminds me of, even though it's like they make like not like big budget movies, but like the kind of movie your grandmother would see and be like, "Oh, my grandson likes Transformers. I can't read anymore."
Shit, I got you that movie you were talking about.
Transformers.
Thank you.
Fucking hell, mate. Yeah, so Sigourney Weaver comes in with her lawyers and is like, basically, you owe damages of, 3,000 years in prison or like hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah, because they did like, like within like in the reality of the movie, they did like what 100. They did like a couple of movies or something that they sweeted, didn't they? But they're like half. I think they were only like half-hour movies or something like that.
They at one point they're like, these movies are only 20 minutes. Let's save money by putting people in the movies and making them 10 minutes long. So let's make YouTube versions. And I've seen now on YouTube and like a lot of like smaller for like TikTok and Instagram, there's a channel that makes like Sweden style movies, like they do shot scenes, but they use like household items. If I see it come up on TikTok, I'll send it to you if I see it. But the idea of making like a home movie style version of old movies goes back to people making fan films of Batman and Star Wars. Okay, I can see a list right here. Super Flying Man, that's Superman. Carrie, Men in Black, When We Were Kings, he plays, oh no, he doesn't, plays somebody else. If the scene goes by fast enough, I'll be able to list some better names off.
I've seen a few fan-made like trailers or whatever. There is one, I forget what it's called. It's a Ninja Turtles movie. It's like Attack of the Foot or something like that. And it's like a little 5-minute thing, but it's like dark and gritty. That one's really good. There's a few Dragon Ball Z live action movie trailers that they're trying to get like kickstarted to like do the actual thing that looks a lot better than I think the one that came out was from Fox or whatever, but trash.
Well, I can think of three versions that are bigger budget, but sort of in the same vein. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds put the money out to make like a screen test for the Deadpool suit, which
Yeah,
is in the movie.
which
So
basically got the project greenlit or whatever.
there's a short film called Venom about basically the same universe style Venom. It's more of a detective thing, and that's sort of what the newer comic book detectives are with Venom. But it's sort of this like gritty detective thing with Venom, and that sort of got the ball rolling for the
Like
newer Venom movie.
reporter kind of thing,
The what? Sorry.
like a detective reporter or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other one, the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out, is directly from that like mini series, that internet mini series that was made.
Yeah.
That sort of garnered interest. So like this kind of stuff happens, and like I think this movie might have been a little bit ahead of its time overall. Oh, I just like
Fine.
my review for Thor: The Dark World is right after my like notes, and I was like, wait, Zachary Levi's not in this movie because Zachary Levi is in Thor: The Dark World, but he's only in that, and then they replaced him. They replaced that actor with the different actor,
Yeah.
for that character. Okay. So to wrap things up, they're making good money, keeping this place alive. But what ends up happening is Danny Glover doesn't take the deal. He doesn't get the money together, but they do make one final film, and that's the movie I was talking about at the beginning. They make Everybody Gets In on It movie about Fats Waller, who is the famous jazz musician.
Yeah.
And it's great. And they get the whole community to come in and sit in and watch the film. And in the 11th hour, the guy from the bank comes. And he's like, "You guys got to shut it down. Like, we got the bulldozers here ready to tear it down." And he's just like, I took the deal. Just give me 10 minutes to show these people. But the thing is, it was all a lie. Danny Glover told that to Mos Def to like give him something to hold on to give him heart and spirit. So at the end of the day, all of it was stupid and didn't matter. But
The whole
but also
outside though, watching from the projection on the window or the bed sheet.
oh yeah, because there's that whole subplot where when Danny Glover's at the video store, late like he goes and leaves, but then what?
His rival, like the other video store owner.
Yeah, it's basically just a blockbuster. But Jack Black and Mos Def break in to steal the projector, and they find out that the dude's living there. So basically, they're like, we don't see it, but it's heavily implied that it's like, we'll keep your secret if you hook us up with this projector. And then he ends up showing up. Jack Black tries to put an old CRT TV up on a thing, and it falls off and breaks right before the movie is about to be shown.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so he shows up. He's like, we'll project it. They project the movie. Everybody goes home feeling good. We don't actually find out what ends up happening, if they end up going to the project or what, but we just got a lot of heart. It's a great film.
It ends with the heart.
It ends with the heart. So just we got about 5 minutes here. Do you have any final thoughts? And what would give it a rating of 5? Let's say.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's a nice movie, right? Like there's like a story to it or whatever. It's executed fine. It's definitely something that I can go back and revisit once in a while. It isn't something like some of the other movies I watch. Like there's some things where I could just watch over and over and over again and like still just want to keep watching it. But I like that someone made it, to say the least, right? And like I was saying earlier, like I wrote a script for a movie back in high school, and I came across it a few weeks ago or whatever. Just kind of read through it, and it made me like there's like parts of it that make me laugh, and like I was like, you know what, I kind of like it, kind of like re-inspired me or whatever to try and like pursue that again. And then like thinking about this and how like they just made their own videos, like man, I could do it. It might not be the best like quality thing, but I could do it. And well, the other thing I was thinking is, how could I try to take advantage of it not being good quality, right? Like how could I make a low quality thing, but like using it to an advantage or whatever? So I'm still trying to figure all that out. But I had this, I wrote a script for a movie back in high school. I found it the other day. I was reading through it. I might do a second draft because I was thinking of a few different ways to kind of like tweak it a little bit. But yeah, so as far as rating this movie, I'll give it a solid 3.
Yeah, it's a little low.
I'm like, if I were like, it is like, I feel bad saying it. Yeah, it is kind of low, but it's not a 5. Like, not say that
No, no.
maybe it's a 5 in its own right with its own, like, depending on what kind of, like, uh, um, criteria you're marking it on or whatever. But, like, to just consider, it's not a 5 for me. And 4 just seems a little generous.
Yeah.
Solid 3 for sure. Maybe, like, 3.5-ish and around there. But at the same time, like, sometimes, like, it's kinda like it's hard to rate some, like.
It definitely is. Like I've gone over many times. My scale constantly changes. I like the funny thing is like if I go back and was to rewatch movies I reviewed early on, I probably wouldn't give them the same review, all things considered. And on top of that, it
Feeling that day.
exactly, and from one day to another, like Thor: The Dark World is a review that I have upcoming. That's one that I haven't put out yet, but I hated it this time. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it as much as when I watched it originally, but it's the reverse for Iron Man 3, where I hated it when I watched it initially and I loved it this time.
Yeah.
This movie falls into that category with me where hey, thanks, Mo. This movie falls into that category where I liked it a lot and I really appreciated what it was doing, but I just found that it was a movie out of time. I give it a 3.5, and I had it at a 3.8, but talking about things sometimes like,
Yeah.
Moves it down a little bit. And we didn't, there's not a lot of substance to talk about, like the movie is like two guys fuck up the movie store by demagnetizing the film. So then the crux of the movie, like I said, is that middle part, that Home Alone bit in the middle where we want to see what movies they swede.
Yeah.
That's why I came to watch the movie. The part of the heart of the movie, the feel good bit about Fats Waller is sort of like it just tacked on. It's tacked on to be like, that's the kind of thing you see in an indie film. That's the kind of thing you see in a movie about gentrification. You didn't need that. It could have been a wacky, just that off the wall wacky comedy about these two guys for an hour and a half doing these hilarious takes on different movies.
I wonder if that could, now that you say that, part of me kind of would like to see that version.
Right? Yeah. And that's what I was thinking while I was watching it the whole time. I was like, this could have been like, it has a bit of an identity crisis. Is it a feel good black movie, or is it a wacky comedy about two friends remaking all their favorite movies?
You want me to?
But yeah, I do. Of course I do.
Once the pandemic's over, we'll make.
Once I can come back to Halifax,
yeah,
I'm stuck here.
Well, we're starting to get some heavy restrictions now too.
Yeah, I know. I heard. So yeah, this has been unnamed video, unnamed movie review project, once formerly known as Beard Buddies or whatever. We got beards. Thanks for watching. If you watched tonight, thank you. If you're watching this in the future, thank you. My name's Jason. You can find me on all social media. Spider Hero 9000. This is most of it. You can watch my other podcast about the television show Blossom. It's called Blossom Buddies. You can find that anywhere. This has been my lovely co-host, Galen. What? Beard Buddies.
What's the name right now?
I'll say a word and you say a word. Clown.